got Jay coming from Bold. Thanks for joining us.
My pleasure. Thanks for having me. Yeah, I'm one of the co-founders here at Bold, and subscriptions are a big part of what we do. Subscription and membership, which often the words get kind of used interchangeably. So, and especially in the wine industry, we have a lot of clients that have really understood the value of membership. I think it's really important. I buy wine, and people crave membership. They want to be a part of something. So to give your customers the ability to have that and to pay for it is really important. So let's dive into it here. So I put how it started, how it's going. We've been in the subscription game for a while. So if you go to the next slide, subscriptions have been an interesting space. You used to just win by having a subscribe and save option. That was 2015. If you had the ability to sell wine and subscribe and save, you were ahead of everyone else. Because it was more convenient. More convenient meant more subscription conversion. More subscription conversion meant higher recurring revenue, and everyone was happy. That was how it started. How it's going, it's quite different now. Subscriptions are really a payment and a shipping option. If you don't have a subscription option, customers will actually just look for another brand that do, because for a lot of customers, that's their preferred way to buy something. They just prefer to subscribe to a lot of products. So subscribe and save has become expected table stakes, where convenient subscription, which was once convenient subscription, is now what we call subscription fatigue. Customers are getting tired of subscriptions. They have too many subscriptions. They're piling up, and they're going, and they're not just canceling one, but they're canceling sometimes a whole bunch on their credit card. Subscription fatigue is turning into churn and retention issues, and if you have retention issues, of course, you have eventual failure. So this sounds very negative. That's how it started. That's how it's going. But so the question is, are all brands doomed? It's actually the opposite. And if you go to the next slide, we're seeing the subscription industry as a segment is growing 6 times faster than overall retail. So this is a look on the left of just the subscription industry versus all other retail. And then just some interesting stats, like 78% of Americans have at least one subscription. The top 5 Fortune 500 companies all embrace a subscription membership model. And Gartner actually predicts that by the end of 2023, 75% of all D2C brands will have a subscription membership offering. So a lot of brands are winning and doing really well, but a lot of brands are failing. So what I want to try to help some of you with is, what's the difference? Why are some winning and why are some failing? So we've learned some stuff by working with a lot of brands. So there's one more slide. The biggest thing about subscription and membership is it's not just good for brands, it's good for customers too. So a lot of customers actually prefer to buy by subscription. 78% of them say it's convenient. There's savings because they're subscribing and saving on it. For brands, they have better data on the customers, so they're more connected to them. And subscribers, quite frankly, they're worth more. Like, they have a 178% higher lifetime value, and it costs less to acquire them. So when you have a customer that's more valuable, you can spend more time on them. You treat them as members, not as customers. You can spend more to acquire them if you want, because they're typically worth more. So it's a good experience for customers when it's done right, and it's a good experience for brands when it's done right. So next slide. So what are the brands that are doing it right? What are they doing to win? Flip to the next slide. What we call if there's one thing you kind of remember from this, is I want you to remember what a subscription value stack is. And if you go to the next slide, typically when you think of membership or subscription, most people would lump themselves in one of 3 categories. They would say, I'm a replenishment model, and replenishment is, I want my same bottle of wine every month, my same bottle of shampoo every month, like the same thing every month. Curation is some aspect of curation. Typically it could be it's a surprise and delight, or a different box every month, or it's curation like a taster's choice, a sommelier's special each month, some type of curation. Access is access to content on your store or your site. Maybe you have tutorials or video content or blog content, or access to products. Maybe certain categories on your site are only available to members. You have to pay to be a member to get access to them, or maybe special pricing. Typically, people have seen themselves as one of each of these 3. And if you flip to the next slide, we looked at we have around 20,000 brands using our subscription software, and we looked at all of them, and we looked at the top 100. And one thing we noticed was that all the brands that were growing that hockey stick growth, their offering all had an aspect of all of them: curation, replenishment, and access. So when you're building out your offering, curation doesn't cut it by itself. So curation is great, but if you don't have some aspect of access to different content, access even to the founder, like some of our brands do Zoom calls with wine tasting with the founder. It's a virtual wine tasting. Some of them are live now again. And then replenishment is the basic one. They want their thing and they want it every month, but they also want the curation. And then the bonus factor that isn't a category but is critical in all of this is the value in each of these has to be increasing over time. What gets them to sign up now isn't going to be what keeps them as a subscriber in 6 months. And if you think about Amazon Prime and other memberships you might be a member of, when you signed up, it might have been free shipping. Then it was Prime Video. Then it was Prime Video storage. Then it's Alexa. Then it's other things. They keep layering in more value every year. And sometimes they increase the prices too, and that's okay as long as they're consistently layering in that value. So when you look at some of these, if you're thinking about putting in a membership model, we don't have to stay on this slide for too long. I'll jump to the next one. But like, look at these. These are just a couple of thoughts. But I always tell brands, put up on a board curation, replenishment, and access, and list under each one what you offer to your customer and what your membership will include. It needs to have something from each of these buckets. Sorry, go to the next slide now.
Sure. That's an awesome action item. Again, just to repeat. So put this on your board and figure out how you're addressing each one of those.
And I often ask brands, I say what does your customer get every month? And if they say they get my product every month, I can almost tell you that brand is going to be out of business, or their subscription is going to fail. Maybe not out of business, but they won't have a successful subscription in about a year, because customers get product fatigue. They'll get tired of the product. If you could take that product out, and if that customer won't cancel your subscription, so if it's the wine every month, if that wine didn't get delivered, but because they're a member, they get access to a wine club, exclusive wine tasting events, maybe access to the founder to do wine tasting with, all these other perks. If they're going to lose all that too, it's not even just about the product. So then and I'm actually a member of a wine club, and I didn't have last month because I've been away for a while, and it's going to build up. I'm not going to cancel my subscription because there's so many other perks and benefits with it. So ask yourself, what is your value stack? So if you click on the next slide, I just put in a couple. Oh yeah, and I just wanted to say this really quick, and then I have a couple examples of some ones that do good. So it's important to move from a subscription mindset to a membership mindset. And membership is holistic. Subscription is a component of a good membership. So, and actually, I defined it on the next slide, and this would be a good one. This one and the next one will be a good one to screenshot to put your mind in the right state. A subscription gives customers access to a product or service for a period of time. A membership means being a member of a store, an organization, or a group, belonging. And now go to the next slide. And so the difference is membership is the notion of belonging. It's a relational concept. It says nothing of cost, though most memberships do end up having a cost. And a subscription is simply a revenue agreement. It's a financial concept. It says nothing about the benefits of belonging. You can be subscribed to something, but not be like your telephone company or your electricity. You're subscribed to it, but you're not maybe emotionally attached, and you're not maybe a member of that electricity company or the water company, but you can still subscribe to it. So they're different, and it's very important to understand that a subscription doesn't mean your customers are members. To get them to be members, it's more than just they are signed up and they're subscribing. If all they're doing is getting the subscribe and save, they will churn, and your membership program won't last. And then on the next slide, I just have a few. You can go to the next one after this. I have a couple examples that I really liked. Actually, this is the one I'm a member of, Foreign Affair. They're one of our brands, and they do such a good job. Every month or every couple months, I get an offer for. They do virtual wine tasting. I get an exclusive bottle that they don't sell in stores. This time, they actually had a weekend at their winery that only members get. Every month, it's different. I get different members and perks because I'm a member. So like I said, I didn't drink my wine last month because I've been away. I'm actually at Shop Talk in Vegas right now. I'm in my hotel room. That's why the virtual background. But
What?
but I'm I'm not going to cancel my membership because there's so many other benefits with it. And if you flip to the next slide, this is another one. And they lead with it actually. So that last thing I showed, that was an email. These guys do such a fantastic job. This is an Australian wine company, but they lead with, this is what you get. This is the value stack of this membership. Privileged pricing. You get always discounts. You get periodic calls from their founders. You get special offers. There was a bunch of things. And actually when you sign up, they layer on even more as well too. So you can go to the next slide. And actually the next ones we'll go through these ones aren't related to wine, but I just, this just hammers in the extra benefit. Pharrell Williams is one of our clients, and he has a shoe drop, but only members get it. Kenko smoothies, same thing, exclusive gifts at Christmas. And you can go through the next one. I had a couple other, but I think the concept is, the most important takeaway from this is the benefit is not the product every month. And that goes back to what I started with, how it started and how it's going. It used to be that subscribe and save, the convenience of a subscribe and save discount was what got them and what kept them. That doesn't anymore. You need to have a value stack of all these other offerings, and it's so important in the wine industry. Customers want to be a member. They crave it. They crave to know more about the wine, the winery, how it's made, the product, and then they stay around longer. So and they will pay for it.
That's great. Jay, thank you so much. That's really cool. It really does go beyond what my understanding is of subscription models. Obviously, there's a bunch of other content here you can click through, but it does seem to me like wine in particular has a really great opportunity to add value. Even just these wine virtual tastings where you send wine in advance and then you get together at a given time. There's so many ways to add that kind of a special touch to it in the industry. Jay, thank you. Please stay around. So we'll have some questions maybe at the end. Okay. Thank you, Jay.
Definitely will. Thanks for having me.